Hey Martians, welcome back to Neptune Conversations with me, your spiritual online bestie. This space is for those of you all who are on a spiritual journey where you are leaving organized religions and learning how to get connected to yourself in a deeper way, to the higher power source, as well as obtaining the tools and things that you need to work along within this journey. So today's conversation was suggested from you all. This is a space where I want to hear you all suggestions on topics that you would like for me to talk about in regards to the journey and the process. So definitely feel free to leave them down below in the comments for me to take a look at. And I'll put something together, honey, okay? And the goal is to be releasing at least once a week. So if you missed last week's video, definitely check it out, okay? So in today's video, we are getting into this damn loneliness, honey. The damn loneliness, okay? And I actually recorded a video on the loneliness last year when I started the process of doing this channel, and I just kind of stopped. And I was listening to it, and I was like, you know, I want to re-record it, okay? And in that video, it was real time of me literally crying in the bed because I was going through a period of withdrawals from, you know, missing people. It's around the time of the holiday season. And you know what, holiday seasons and things of that nature is really big for missing people, missing the past, being very nostalgic. There's a massive hypnosis that goes around that puts us into the energy of being nostalgic, okay? And so with that, we may find ourselves going through this period of loneliness and missing what we once had, you know what I'm saying? And so in this video, I'm gonna be sharing with you all just kind of like where that comes from, what I do to work through when I had that loneliness, and how I got to the place where I am now where, you know, I don't too much go through it anymore. This past year has been very transformative when it comes to me being able to find the community, create the community, and now have people around me who are aligned with me. And so as I get into this, it's making me think of, y'all know the saying where they say you could be around a bunch of people and still be lonely. And I feel like a lot of that applies to the spiritual journey, you know, because even when we were around those people that we find ourselves missing and sometimes being lonely, we felt lonely around them. You know, we felt like they didn't quite understand us. We felt like there wasn't a lot that we had in common. We felt like we couldn't really fully open up and be vulnerable, you know, in a lot of ways. And so because of that, we would be around them, but we still didn't feel fully connected. And the difference between then and now is just the fact that you were around someone then, okay? And now you're not, okay? At least in the beginning phases, you know what I'm saying? So I have some things written down that I'm going to be making sure that I touch on and hit on, okay? And then we're going to get into the vibe of it. So y'all know from my main channel that I love to tap into dictionary.com, honey, okay? So I'm about to go to dictionary.com, and we're going to look at the definition of lonely first. And then I'm going to get into the pieces of the process that I do and suggestions of what you can do to work through that loneliness that you find when you're going on your spiritual journey, okay? So lonely, being affected with, characterized by, or causing a depressive feeling of being alone, and you're lonesome. Destitute of sympathetic or friendly companionship. And that is a key piece where it says destitute of sympathetic or friendly companionship, because that aligns with how you can be around a bunch of people and still feel lonely because you don't feel like they really have the empathy or the sympathetic energy that's needed, or friendly energy where you feel like it's a safe space to be able to open up, you know what I'm saying? And support, right? So when we look at this aspect of being alone in the journey, most times when we start off on our spiritual journey, the people around us aren't doing it with us. It's usually a very individual journey. And I think honestly, over time, as I've had some time to meditate and look at it and, you know, analyze my journey, and seeing that in a lot of ways, the lonely phase is needed. Because in the lonely phase, that's when we're forced to sit with ourselves. We're forced to really sit and analyze our characteristics. We're forced to sit and analyze our personal trauma. We're forced to be able to sit and analyze our shadow sides, to be able to be honest with ourselves, you know, because if we're surrounded by people and things, it's hard to tell what energy is theirs versus what energy is ours, you know? And so I feel like a benefit of the lonely phase is the fact that you're forced to sit with yourself and to get like your benchmark data, right? So coming from the place of, you know, I used to be a teacher, when we would, for us to be able to know how much a student grew over the course of the school year, we had to do something called benchmarking. And so I see the lonely phase of it as like being the time of benchmarking where we're currently at in our personal energy. So it's a great time to journal, write out what you're feeling, write out what you're, you know what I'm saying, what you're going through and things of that nature. And if you're interested in journal prompts, I do have weekly journal prompts that I release on my website, moenicole.com. It should be linked down below in the description box, and you can join the mailing list, and I send out weekly journal prompts every week. We're on week 26 now, but you can always go back to the old ones. I'm going to set up an automatic thing to where when you join in and it's sending you week 1. Okay. That's what I'm going to be setting up, but definitely, check that out down below. Okay. Oh, excuse me. But back to what I was saying, being able to journal and process and sit with yourself in regards to what you're feeling, what's going on, where these triggers came from. It helps us get a good assessment in what it is that we need, what it is that we need to work on, what is it that we like, what are our toxic behaviors, things of that nature, right? I feel like it's needed. And so when it comes to those times when we feel ourselves being triggered by that loneliness, one of the best things of what we can do is to first allow ourselves to sit with it. We have to be able to sit with, Jonah, no, not in this video, honey, okay? Because you're going to knock something over. I love you. You could come up here, baby. He trying to jump up here so bad. He like, I know you not recording without me, okay? Because he probably still going to do it. But allow yourself to sit with it, especially during the beginning process of going through the lonely phase. And a big reason for it is because it's a grieving process. We're grieving what we no longer have. We're grieving the memories. I'm hearing the Johnny Taylor, too many memories. Okay. But a lot of times we're usually romanticizing the memories. We're usually romanticizing what happened in those relationships that caused us to want to be so tight and close to the relationships, you know? And so from that, allow yourself to sit with it, go through the grieving process. Okay. Work through why you're feeling this way. Where is it coming from? And most times it's because of the nostalgia energy of everything that is, you know, happening and going on around us, you know, because it usually happens around birthdays, holidays, things of that nature. Okay. And so after looking at it and allowing yourself to sit with it, analyze it, look at things from a realistic versus idealistic perspective. And what I mean by that is realistic is what is the reality of everything, okay? What is the truth of everything? Because like I said, most times when we look at it from a idealistic perspective of like the good times, you know, for the good times. But we kind of ignore the times that they made us cry, the times when we felt alone when we were with them, the times when we didn't feel heard, the times when we felt unsupported, the times when we felt like we had to hold back who we were. We have to sit and really be honest with ourselves about those times when we go through them. You know what I'm saying? And when we do that, it allows us to be able to remind ourselves why things had to go the way that they went. When we sit with ourselves and be honest, it reminds us why things had to go the way that they went, why we had to make the decision, why we had to walk away, why we chose to walk away. And that usually happens during this phase of it, you know, but allow yourself to sit with self first, you know what I'm saying? And as you go through the phase of asking yourself, okay, reminding myself why I did this, why I made this decision, it helps you bring you like yourself back to balance. It allows you to bring yourself back to balance. You're back into a place where your mind is remembering your why, basically. And we see that not only with this spiritual journey, we see it with everything that we do in life, where we have to stop and remind ourselves, why did I do this? Why did I sign up for this? And it just gets us back into track. It gets us back on track and allows us to stay focused. And one thing that I usually do during this phase, I like to create. So like I said, whether it's journaling or writing or creating art, I put my energy into the writing. So like I told you, when I went through that phase, I turned my process and journey into a book. My first book of my series, I call like the Black Harry Potter series, Nia Blue and the Great Awakening. I'm actually starting the process of reading the audiobook on my main channel today. And I'm working on the second book now. But I used that process of what I was going through and made a fiction book based off of it and that journey. And I turned my pain into work. I remembered the why of what I was doing and why I chose to do it. And that helps drastically. Okay. It helps drastically. Because then it also helped me remember why I crave the connections, because naturally humans want to connect. Naturally, we want to be connected with someone who is aligned with us, right? That's human connection. That's the human vibrations and things of that nature. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be connected. But the thing is that we want to be connected with the right people. That's the difference. And I'm going to take a sip of my tea on that one, okay? This is my Keep It Up Honey tea. I've been drinking this every morning, every day, because flu season and cold season is among us. And honey, it's a no for me, okay? So after you go through that, it's like it allows yourself, so like I said, with the creating, it allows you to be able to affirm yourself, affirm your why, affirm why you did what you did, affirm what you are manifesting. So when you're creating from that energy, allow yourself to be able to affirm what it is that you're bringing into your life, right? So you're being honest about the realistic aspect of it all, right? And in you being, let me not put my toes ain't painted, but in the aspect of you being realistic of like what you're manifesting and what you're bringing into your life, it's like, how can I put it? So instead of just focusing on what you don't have, what you used to have, the bad relationships, speak into life the types of relationships that you're manifesting and bringing into your life. What do you see as being the perfect partner? What do you see as being the perfect friend? And when I say perfect friend, I'm not saying someone is just going to be perfect and they're not going to have anything wrong with them. But I'm saying, what is the perfect balanced relationship that you want to see yourself having around you? Okay. And so as you affirm what it is that you're manifesting, you allow yourself to start creating and connecting with that energy, right? So you start finding new communities and things of that nature, or you create your own community. And that was what I decided to do. I was like, wait, hold on. I feel like I'm a black sheep in my life. I'm sure there's other black sheep out there who's needing a space just like, okay? And so in that, it allowed me to be able to create my own community of other people who may consider themselves as a black sheep. And if you bring a friend, I bring a friend, now we have a whole group of friends. Hey, and we're all in alignment. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I did. And I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for the communities that I've built. I'm thankful for the people that I've met along the way. I'm thankful for the people who I found myself being super aligned with and things of that nature now. But it wouldn't have happened if I wouldn't have put myself out there. Now, it wasn't the first community, you know what I'm saying, I had or I was around, but baby, now, my community now is powerful. It's powerful. And so we have to remind ourselves of the journey, what our hopes are, what we're manifesting and what we're creating, so that we can then bring that into fruition into our life, because that loneliness doesn't happen forever. It does not last forever, but we have to allow ourselves to sit through it, to be able to work through it, feel it, and know where it's coming from, so that we can then transmute it, move it around, And then we have what it is that we've been seeking and what we've been wanting. And so you have to be open to new communities. Sometimes we can get really triggered by the past relationships and things that we were connected to and what those relationships did to us. So it makes us a little afraid to be able to jump out there and start something new. And I actually just talked about this in my Divine Soul sessions in my website membership. If you're interested in like extra content, tarot readings, things of that nature from me, you can access that from moenicole.com in my butterfly garden. But I have something that I do called every weekly. It's like Divine Soul therapy sessions. They're like therapy sessions. So I put my social work training and education training background into those sessions. So they're like therapy sessions for enlightened ones, chosen ones, black sheep, those who are going through their journey and process, as well as other healers. So definitely check that out, okay? But as we open ourselves up to communities or creating our own communities, we're now manifesting the energy of what it is that we craved in the first place. And it allows us to create authentic relationships, not the relationships of what just looks good on the outside, or not just the relationships because we're blood, but the relationships that are truly authentic to who we are. And you're going to know, your spirit is going to know when it's your community. It's going to know when it's not a safe space, you know. I do want to hear from you all down below. How has that journey been for you, you know, when it comes to the loneliness? What has been some of the hardest parts for you? You know, if enough of you all comment and things of that nature, I can turn into another video addressing those. But I'm interested in hearing for you all, what has that process been like when addressing the loneliness, going on your spiritual journey and separating from what you once knew? Because it's honestly like a grieving process. Starting your spiritual journey is like a grieving process. You're starting all over again. And that can be a little bit more difficult in your adulthood versus when you're a baby, because you have direct conscious memories of things that have happened. And that's the difference between when you were a baby, because when you were a baby, everything, all your memories are unconscious from your past lives. So I'm interested in hearing from you all down below in the comments. I hope this answered some of you all's questions or provided you with just some guidance of how to deal with the loneliness that comes with your spiritual journey, and what I've done, you know, in that process. And let me know down below, okay? But I thank you all for being here. And I mean, that's a wrap, okay? That's a wrap. I have to figure out a new exit song for us on this channel, you know. I might just keep it My Martians, that's a wrap. All right. I don't know. Sure. I don't know. It'll come to me eventually. But I thank you all for being here in this space. It's my hopes that you continue along on this journey with fervor, and may you be in a space of confidence of knowing that there is not just one right way of doing it. As long as you're being true to you and your soul and your energy, everything is going to work out just fine. I promise you it will, okay? And as always be real, always be true. Don't be afraid to do what you and your higher self and your spirit team is calling for you to do, my loves. I'll see you in the next one.